Hey,
Hi,
what's your name?
I'm Jenny.
Is this your first time in the counseling office?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm Miss Justice. I'm actually your school counselor. And so I kind of just want to let you know before we get started that this is a safe space, which basically means that you can let me know anything that's kind of on your mind or what you want to talk about. Um, Anything at all, really. There are just a few things that if you say something, I might need to bring somebody else into the conversation. So that would maybe look like if you want to hurt yourself, if you want to hurt somebody else, or if somebody else has been hurting you. Okay? So if any of those things are the case, then we'll bring somebody else into the conversation. But other than that, everything that you say is going to stay between us. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions about that?
Mm.
Alright. So what brings you in today?
Well, as you already know, I was referred to you, by my parents, because I shoplifted, from Macy's last weekend. So it was either alternative school or keep seeing the counselor, so.
I got you. Well, you're here, and we may as well get something good out of it, so why don't we have a conversation and see how things go, okay?
Okay.
Alright, so you wanna tell me about what happened last weekend?
I was with my friends. It was Kristen's birthday, so we went to the mall.
Okay.
And then, we were in Macy's, and, she saw like this like Vera Bradley watch that she really liked, and, she was talking about how expensive it was, and I was like, it can't be that bad. So my friends were just like, well, if it's not that bad, why don't you get it for her? So I just took it because it was expensive, and I didn't want to seem like a wuss.
Okay.
So I just took it.
So kind of what you're saying is you went to the mall with your friends and Kristen. So Kristen, is she like a close friend of yours?
I kind of just started hanging out with them, but Kristen was the first one I met.
Okay, so it's kind of a new friend group.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you guys were at the mall, the watch kind of became the topic of conversation. Kristen wanted it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then you decided that you wanted to get it for her, but maybe couldn't afford it, so you stole it?
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So maybe what was going through your mind like in that moment? Do you mind telling me about that?
Well, I mean, they were all kind of like almost egging me on
How
to
so?
take it. Like, when I checked the price after they were like, when I was saying it can't be that bad, and they were like, well, why don't you take it? And I was like, okay, fine. So then I took the watch, and then I saw that it was kind of expensive, but it wasn't attached to anything. So I figured I could just slip it into my book bag and go. But
so you didn't think like an alarm was gonna go off or anything because it wasn't attached to anything?
yeah.
I got you.
But they already had someone following us around, probably because we had book bags. So they watched me take it, and then they took me to the basement of Macy's and started asking me questions.
Okay, I got you. So kind of what happened, is that something that was like an in the moment kind of decision or something that you've done before, thought about before?
No, I was actually really scared when I did it,
Okay.
but it was the first time that a lot of people had been like paying attention to me. Like I was kind of like I was the center of attention for once, so
Okay.
I kind of liked that. Kind of felt like a high, so
Okay.
so I took it.
Do you feel like you're not this, like you don't get enough attention and maybe that's what it was? Cause kind of what you're saying is in that moment you felt like everybody was paying attention to you because you took it and it was like an adrenaline rush. So do you not feel like that in other areas of your life?
Well, I don't really feel like that at home much.
Okay.
So like whenever they caught me, they called my parents, or they called my dad, and
Okay.
he came to, you know, pick me up and like get me out or whatever. But yeah, I feel that way about my dad. So
That you don't like get enough attention from him?
yeah, we used to be really close, before my brother got sick, but ever since Carter was diagnosed with leukemia, like kind of just don't really talk much anymore.
And Carter's your brother?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 12.
12? And you said he was diagnosed with leukemia? How long ago was that?
He was so 2 years ago, because he was 10 and I was 13.
Okay, I bet that was Tell me how that made you feel.
When my brother was diagnosed with
Yeah.
leukemia? Well, my brother is like kind of like the baby in the family, so obviously we were all like heartbroken when it happened, but you know, I still had like school and I was like 13 at the time, so it was like I was like in middle school, so I was still like kind of just like finding my way around, trying to make my own friends, and then all of a sudden like my dad just like didn't really talk to me. We used to play basketball a lot
Okay.
together, but then that stopped happening because they have to take care of Carter, but you know, I can see why.
Okay.
So I don't know why I feel so mad.
So what I'm hearing from you is that, you know, a few years ago, your younger brother was diagnosed with leukemia. And when that happened, especially like specifically your dad, his focus shifted more to your brother, or before you guys had a much closer relationship. And because of that, it's making you feel, like you said, sad and probably angry and a bit resentful, maybe? Do you kind of understand what that means?
Resentful? I think I feel, what does that mean? What does resentful mean?
So it might mean that you are angry at somebody for something that happened.
That's how I definitely feel, but it feels wrong. So like sometimes I feel angry with my brother, and sometimes when I see him, I like really can't like look at him because I have so many feelings. Like I'm sad that he's sick and stuff, but he's also the reason why me and dad don't really like talk anymore.
So you're probably incredibly conflicted inside.
Yeah.
So you love your brother, like you said, and you guys have a good relationship and you want him to feel better. But at the same time, because of him being diagnosed with leukemia, he is kind of the center of attention.
Yeah.
And it completely shifted to maybe being a more equal share of attention to now it's kind of all focused on him.
Yeah, definitely.
So you said that makes you feel like sad and angry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely sad and angry and wrong, guilty, I guess maybe. But I don't know. So that's kind of why I took the watch, I guess.
Yeah.
Because my dad.
So you think it was more like you know, you wanna seek attention, or you realized after you took it you got the attention that you needed?
Well, I think when I took it, I really liked the fact that my friends had all of their eyes on me and stuff, and then when I took it I got caught and my friends kind of just bailed. Like none of them stuck around to even like help or anything like that. But when they called my dad, obviously when he got me out, all he did was yell at me the whole ride home, and I realized that was the first time he talked to me in a long time.
So even though it was kind of negative attention, it was still something.
Yeah, and it was Carter's checkup, and he had to leave Carter with my grandma because of what I did, so it just seems like even if I get his attention, it's like bad.
And I'm sure that adds just more to the already like conflicted feelings that you're having.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what your relationship was like with your dad maybe before your brother got sick?
Me and my dad both really like playing basketball.
Yeah?
I played basketball in middle school.
Okay, do you still play on the team?
No, I didn't know when tryouts were,
Okay.
so I just didn't, but me and my dad used to always, watch, like, NBA games. We really liked the Lakers.
Yeah.
And, it used to be like a huge family thing. We used to always, watch it on TV, and we even talked about maybe, like, spending money to go on a trip to go to the Lakers game, but obviously it never happened.
I got you.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I really want to thank you for sharing this with me. I know that was incredibly personal and something that, because you're already conflicted about, probably wasn't the easiest thing to share. And so I kind of just want to make sure that I understood exactly what you were telling me, okay?
Okay.
So I know that you said originally the reason you came here was because you shoplifted and your parents were making you come talk to me, right? But then we kind of talked things through and figured out that maybe it's not so much about shoplifting as it is there are these other things going on at home. One, that your brother is sick, and that's incredibly heartbreaking and sad, and you already feel kind of a loss there.
Mm-hmm.
But then also like your parents, specifically your dad's attention shifting to your brother, which kind of makes you feel angry and resentful towards your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah, but also guilty for feeling that way.
And guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. So I'd really like to continue this conversation in the future. I know we've got to get class right now, but how are you feeling after you kind of told me about what was going on?
I feel like somebody actually listened, so thanks for that.
You're welcome. So let's talk again. How does next week sound?